In this video, I'm going to show you how to book a Japanese bullet train called a Shinkansen using a website called SmartEX. I'll talk about some of the advantages to buying ahead versus buying at the station or using the Japan Rail Pass. And in a future video, I'll explain why I no longer think the Japan Rail Pass is a good value. And I'll link that below when it's done. So please subscribe and like the video to stay in the loop. So here's the step-by-step process of booking on SmartEX. Okay, so I'm going to walk through how to book a Shinkansen ticket for a high-speed train in Japan using the SmartEX website. So I've already created an account here and logged in, but this is my preferred way to book Shinkansen trains in Japan. If you know when you're going to be traveling and if you're willing to commit to a time, it's a little bit cheaper this way. They do have some discount prices and things like that you can get as long as you're willing to book a little bit in advance, at least like a month in advance. And so this is the way I like to do it. So you can see here in my trips, I've got 2 reservations here. I actually booked this ticket just a minute ago and went through this whole walkthrough, and my mic was not recording. So we're going to try this again. But I'm logged in here, and the time up here is Japan time. And it's important that you do this during business hours in Japan. And the reason for that is because if it's outside of business hours, it won't let you reserve a seat. So if you want to reserve a seat on the train, you're going to want to do this during business hours in Japan, which is usually the day before in the afternoon or the evening in the United States. So I'm doing this on a Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening, and so that would be Monday during business hours in Japan. So the next thing here is this change cancel membership information. You're going to want to click in there if it's your first time and set up your payment method, your credit card. So you want to do that before you actually go through and try to book a ticket. When you do that, it's easiest to use an American Express card. For Visa cards that are issued outside of Japan, there's a problem authenticating. To my knowledge, they still don't work. Some MasterCards supposedly work, but most don't. And so it'll come back as invalid or something like that. And I have tried that actually with a Visa card before, not this time around, but it's just easier to do it with an American Express card. It's able to authenticate it, you can do it, and you won't have any issues. So this is one example where having an American Express card really helps, and it's kind of the most reliable payment method, in my opinion. So I've already set up my card here. I'm not going to go into this information screen just because it's got a lot of personal information and stuff in there. But at this point, I've set that up, and I'm going to go here into search train. So search train, and I'm looking for a ticket. We'll just do a dummy ticket here since I've already booked the one I'm actually going to use, but we're going to go close to 28 days in advance. So it's October 20th as of recording. I'm going to do Friday, November 15th, and I'm going to book a train for about 10 a.m. So we're going to do this from Osaka station back to Tokyo station. So for my trip, I'm going to be leaving Osaka and coming back to Tokyo then. If it's not a busy season or something, you can book these day of, and you can usually get seats and things like that. This is the busiest route in Japan, and a lot of tourists there and things like that. Seems like it's harder to get seats day of than it used to be. And maybe just getting busier. And Shinkansen is going to be moving eventually to dynamic pricing, where day of it might be more expensive. Right now, if there's a ticket available, it'll cost the same amount. But for me, I just like to book it earlier. And again, you do get a discount for booking in advance. So it's a one-way trip, Shin Osaka to Tokyo. Just going to do one adult, and then I'm going to search only direct trains. Most of the time it gives you a bunch of direct trains anyway, but I'll go ahead and book that or click that box here, and then I'm going to search. So pulling this up here, as you can see, these Nozomi trains are This one leaves at 10:06. It arrives at 12:33. These are the fastest trains, and so it's about 2.5 hours from Osaka to Tokyo. Train doesn't make as many stops, and you'll get to Tokyo the fastest there. If you have the Japan Rail Pass, you do have to pay extra for these Nozomi trains. And one reason why I feel like the Japan Rail Pass is not such a great value anymore. It used to be before things changed in 2023, but one of the reasons for that is that you do have to pay extra for these trains. You look down at this Hikari train, it's a little less than 3 hours, and there's some other trains that are even slower, but a lot of these are Nozomis, and you have a lot more flexibility if you're just willing to ride the Nozomis. And as you can see, they're only about 9 minutes apart for the most part, so we're just going to pick this one randomly. This select button here, this orange button, this is the seat selection, and this is what would not be available to you if you booked it outside of business hours. So you book it when it's the middle of the night in Japan or something, that button's not going to be there. We'll still allow you to book the train, but you're not going to be able to select a seat. So this is the easiest way to do it. I'm going to go ahead and click that. So the Smart EX, this is the base fare. This is the normal fare. It's 14,720 yen, just as the regular price. 19,590 for the green car, which is the first class car. And as you can see, there are some discounted fares here, including this one for 12,370 yen that's not available. For my purposes here, we're going to look at the green car, which is 15,940, and that is because it's more than 3 days, but less than, I believe, 28 days before the train will travel. So again, this is one of the advantages of booking early. You can save here, as you can see, about 3,600 yen, which is a little over $20, and definitely worth doing, again, if you're willing to commit. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. We're going to select that, and then you can go into this view seat map. And at that point, it's going to pull up the seat map. These circles mean that the seat's available. We'll actually go back here and point one more thing out. You can book this if you don't have the seat map. You can book what your preference is. You're not necessarily going to get that. I'm going to go back actually one screen further. Maybe one more, and I apologize because I'm kind of making a mess of this here, but essentially what I wanted to show you is the seat type here, where you can book a seat with an oversized baggage area if you want to. So if you have an oversized suitcase, you do need to book one of these. It's free to book that area, and it'll have a spot for a larger piece of luggage. But if you don't book it, there is a fine for sitting in those seats or for putting your luggage in that area if you don't have that seat. So book that beforehand. I think the maximum is 140 centimeters with all dimensions with your suitcase. So that's pretty close to what normal size luggage is. And the racks on the Shinkansen are pretty big. You're able to get a pretty good sized suitcase up there as long as you can lift it up above your head. So you don't necessarily need that if you travel with a normal sized suitcase. So again, back to the no designation. Sorry for the back and forth here, but we're going to go ahead and go back into this Nozomi train. And again, we're going to select this green car, going to the view seat map. And here we have the different cars. So green car number 8, there's a number 9, also number 10. There are 3 green cars here, and you can see those. If you book the normal cars, there's like usually around 13 cars. Some of them may be full, but usually it's a 16-car train. So a lot of just the regular cars, you'll have a lot of seat options. This shows the direction that the train is traveling, and this designates the oversized baggage area. I've never actually booked one of these tickets, but it should allow you to pick your seat based on that. So I'm going to go ahead and just arbitrarily pick a seat in green car number 9 because we're going from Osaka to Tokyo facing this direction. This side is going to see Mount Fuji, which I prefer. So I'm going to pretend that I'm picking that seat. And once you select it, as you can see, it will kind of gray out the rest of it. And then it will give you some disclosures here about, again, the oversized baggage areas, things like that. But if you want to actually pick a seat, you don't need to worry so much about this, and you just hit continue. So going in here now, as you can see, it'll give you the train number, the time, and the arrival time. It's a green car, carriage and the seat number, and then the total price of the ticket. So at this point, that will be all you need. For some trains, you do need like a basic fare ticket and an express charge ticket, and those go together. In this case, as you can see in this first line here, this includes both of those, so that's all you need. You don't need to worry about an express ticket or anything like that, because this fare that you're purchasing covers that. So if you hit OK here, and again, I've already done this, so I'm not going to do it again, but if you hit OK here, it'll go ahead and complete your reservation. At that point, for me, what I do is I log into my SmartEX app that's on my phone. I have an iPhone, and then the ticket will show up there, and I can add that to my Apple Wallet, and it then gives me a QR code. And with that QR code, you can use that to get into the Shinkansen area. You can scan it at the gate. It'll let you in, and you're able to board the train that way. So you can still pick up your tickets in person, I think, but now you have the option to just do it on your phone. It's much easier and more convenient. It's just quicker. There is a way to actually add it to an IC card, or at least it will give you the option to do so here. I don't know if it actually works. I've heard that there's a lot of issues with it and that it may not actually allow you to do that. So I've never really tried it. I just add it to my Apple Wallet and just scan the card, or scan my phone as I go to enter the train. So that's about it. That will show you how to book a Shinkansen train using SmartEX.